Australia is home to a beautiful diversity of native plants. There's at least 23,000 species and counting that can be found here. Many are well-suited additions to any garden, where they provide visual appeal, seasonal interest, habitat for local wildlife, and an authentic sense of place. But as the industry has grown, so too has some of the misinformation about what it takes to garden with these unique plants. So it's time to put some of these ideas to bed once and for all, and to do some native plant myth-busting. The first myth going around about Australian native plants is that they're all drought-loving survivors, happy in arid environments, dry soils and roasting sunlight. But it's not true. Plants that are native to wet tropical Cairns or soggy parts of southwest Tasmania are just as native as the plants that grow in the goldfields of Western Australia. But there are some plants that must have some water just to survive. And here's two examples. This delicious native mint and this wonderful herb, paddy herb from northern Queensland. For home gardeners, this means if there's a damp, shady corner in your garden, or a pond, a dam, or even a bird bath, there's plenty of native plants to fill that hole. Some of my favourites are Crinum asiaticum variety pedunculatum, the world's largest bulb, and my Pouteria australis, or rainforest plum, which hails from wet rainforests. And there's my Bowenia cycad and fork fern. The second myth is that native plants are messy. Some people are hesitant to take the plunge into the native plant world because they fear those plants won't fit their particular garden aesthetic, something which is neat, trimmed and tidy. Many native plants look better if they're allowed to achieve their natural form, a bit like this Pandanus. But there are plenty which respond really well to a heavy prune, and some can even be hedged. One of the most popular hedging plants around is claret tops. This Melaleuca can be trimmed to any shape or size. You can even bonsai them. Also, Great Balls of Fire is a bottle brush which makes a beautiful, lush, neat hedge. It pays to experiment. This is a hedge of Hibiscus insularis. There's only one plant left in the wild. It doesn't get rarer than that. But what I was looking for when I created this hedge were two things. Firstly, there's a short internode, that's the gap between the branches, and that allows you to clip a plant into tight, interesting shapes. The other thing is small leaves. They don't look bad and tatty after you've done the trimming. So if you have a native plant with both of those characteristics in your garden, you might be able to create an entirely unique hedge. Westringia is another native classic, widely used exactly because it can be pruned and clipped into almost any shape required. Even MALLEE Eucalyptus can be coppiced right down to the base, from where they'll happily regrow. If you're not sure how a native plant will respond to pruning, ask at the nursery or have a look online, and you'll find some really inspirational ways that people are using them in their gardens. The next myth I'd like to bust is that native plants don't need much care. Part of the fun when looking for new things for your garden is looking for new varieties of plants. Things like new flower colours or new forms, or perhaps some fun, frilly foliage. Many of these creations are what's known as cultivars, varieties of plants created by plant breeders for specific characteristics like flower size and colour, habit, shape or overall size. These are distinct from the wild-type species which remain unchanged from those that you would see growing in natural areas. Native plants are no exception, and indeed many of our favourite plants are actually cultivars. Grevillea Robin Gordon, Banksia birthday candles and Hardenbergia Happy Wanderer are three famous examples. Compared to their original wild parents, the cultivars will often have larger flowers, leaves, and grow in a particular form. Generally speaking, cultivars require more water, fertiliser and care than their wild ancestors needed, and that's because they've been specifically bred to look pretty in a garden or to fruit, rather than subsist on what Mother Nature throws at them. For example, this finger lime is grafted so it can grow in a wide range of soil types. For the first 10 years, I got hardly any fruit at all because I didn't understand just how much water this needs to fruit prolifically. For the home gardener, this means if you buy a cultivar, be aware it will need slightly more upkeep to perform at its best. And the last myth that I'm busting is native plants aren't weeds. Weeds are a serious problem in Australia. Every year, they cost the government, us, billions of dollars to limit the damage they cause. Worse, they threaten the livelihoods of our precious native plants and animals. Unfortunately, many of them arrived as innocent garden plants. While the vast majority of environmental weeds are exotic species, some are from Australia, including our national wattle, Acacia pycnantha. And along the east coast of Australia, the umbrella tree from North Queensland can be a significant weed. It is known to produce 300 seedlings per square metre in Brisbane. Australia is a big place, and when certain species are planted in an area where they never naturally occur, they may have a sudden opportunity to exploit the environment in a way that nature never intended. Another good example is Acacia baileyana, or Cootamundra wattle. Originally hailing from a very limited pocket of inland southern New South Wales, its use in gardens and as a street tree spread it around, where it was able to shed copious seeds. As a result, it's become naturalised and a weed in Western Australia, South Australia, Victoria, Tasmania and the ACT. And wherever it's been planted overseas, it's become a common weed. Ask any gardener in South Africa, New Zealand or the USA. As home gardeners, it's important for us to do the responsible thing. Check your plant wish list for potential weeds. You see, the wrong native plant in the wrong place can be just as problematic as an exotic one. So, don't let myths and misconceptions get in the way of your gardening game. Do the research and, in full knowledge, enjoy.